hours left, 14 hours left to be specific, maybe a little less than that until the government shutdown goes into effect. Republicans remain at odds over how to fund the government after throwing negotiations into disarray. President-elect Donald Trump fired this one off earlier this morning, saying this is President Biden's problem, not his, writing this morning on his Truth Social account, if there's going to be a shutdown, quote, let it begin now. Here with us to discuss, CNN political commentator, Democratic strategist Maria Cardona, and Republican strategist and former communications director for the RNC, Doug Heye. Maria, let me start with you first, because I wanted to show this flashback. Trump took credit for the shutdown that happened on his watch back in 2018. Let's watch.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck, because the people of this country don't want criminals and people that have lots of problems and drugs pouring into our country. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down.
Isn't that what he's doing now?
That is exactly.
He's shutting it down.
He absolutely is shutting this down. Make no mistake. The country was on the verge of being able to fund the government, of putting in some good things for the American people on both sides. It was actually a bipartisan negotiation, Jim, in this incredibly divided Congress and country. We had a deal. Democrats and Republicans had a deal. What happened? Musk comes and tweets. Trump follows up, whether that was wag the dog, who knows? And now everything has been blown up because Republicans do not have the spine to stand up for what is best for the American people, to actually govern and give the American people supposedly what they voted for. And they are proving what Democrats have been saying time and again. They have no interest and no clue on how to govern with the best interest of the American people in mind.
And Doug, J.D. Vance was up on the Hill blaming Democrats for this. Do you buy that? Trump and Elon Musk were saying yesterday,
To some extent, yes, but let me tell you why. It has nothing to do really with what's going on right now in the Capitol. What's happening right now in the Capitol is really the symptom. The ultimate problem is Congress, and this is not sexy, does not have a working appropriations process. So the fact that we're not passing the bills that we need to, that contain all of those things that have been removed over the past 24 hours, this is a systemic problem. This is why we had a shutdown in 18. This is why we had a shutdown in 2013. Congress needs to do its job. It doesn't. It kicks the can down the road. And then we get to situations like this over and over again. That's a Republican problem. It's a Democratic problem. And then you get Trump and Musk and all them, tweeting and so forth.
They had a deal. The deal was there. It was a done deal. They were going to do all these things.
You only have a deal if you have the votes. And if you can't get a working appropriations process done, you put yourself in this situation where disaster happens.
But Doug, they had the vote. They had the votes from both sides of the aisle. They had the votes. That's why Speaker Johnson negotiated this deal. And then what happened? Trump weighs in because Musk weighed in, and then it was blown up because Republicans bent the knee to the puppeteers.
I know it's not sexy, but if the House and the Senate and a president, whether it's Biden or Trump, signs in the labor HHS appropriations bill, and the legislative bill, we don't have these conversations.
We just played video of Trump taking credit for it back in 2018. Yeah. He's saying this morning, shut it down.
Congress didn't do its job then. It didn't do it in 2013 when I worked in House of
Republicans have control of Congress. And so you're right. Congress couldn't get it done because Republicans don't know how to govern.
Yeah, I mean, Trump is trying to have it both ways. I mean, let's just be frank. I mean, he's taking credit for a number of things that have happened on President Biden's watch, including a new border security plan put forward by Canada, the Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire, Bitcoin hitting record highs. I mean, there's just a selection of the things. You've heard Republicans say he's already president, Doug. So why doesn't he take the blame for this?
Well, because technically he actually isn't president yet. Look, if I were advising Donald Trump, and full stop, I am not. Yeah. I would tell him what you want from election day to inauguration day. It's the calmest waters you can possibly have. Ring the bell at the stock market, do things like that, but don't cause choppy waters because you don't need it. So if Mike Johnson is threatened, that's bad news for Donald Trump because it makes this water so choppy as he comes in to the White House. And meanwhile, as we're talking about Donald Trump, I remember what John Boehner would say so often in 2013 when we had a shutdown. Republicans have 1/2 of 1/3 of government. And you know who we're not talking about? The guy who is president right now. We haven't seen or heard of Joe Biden. The only pictures you see of Joe Biden are at Christmas parties.
But Doug, you've been around Washington a long time, and Maria, you can weigh on this too. I mean, we have never had a situation where you have the richest man in the world controlling something like X, a pretty powerful social media platform, saying shut the government down. And if you don't do it, we're going to primary you in 2 years. I mean, he is wielding tremendous influence, and he's doing it while peddling fake news. He is peddling disinformation on this website.
Yes, but what's interesting
That makes it tough
It
for
does
anybody to get anything done.
Absolutely, but what we also saw last night in that vote that failed is 38 Republicans vote against Musk, vote against Donald Trump. And, we talk about MAGA and House Freedom Caucus. These are OG Tea Partiers. And what they're saying is, we're not going to pass a debt ceiling. That makes the next 2 years extremely interesting, certainly the next 14 hours and 2 weeks as well.
So again, if you can't get your own house in order, Republicans, don't come blaming Democrats for something of your own doing. If the government shuts down tonight, Jim, this is at the feet of Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, all of the billionaires who were not elected, except for Trump, were not elected, but yet Trump is giving them massive power. That's not what the American people voted for.
Is Elon Musk a shadow president right now? Is he a co-president with Trump?
Well, no, he's not a co-president, but Democrats have found a very effective messaging tactic, and they're not just using it now, they're going to use that for weeks and weeks.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we saw yesterday, Maria, is Elon Musk was sort of leading the parade. He was tweeting, he was Xing, whatever we call it, some 12 hours ahead of Trump.
Exactly. And
as a Democrat,
and
what are you going to do about that?
Well, you pointed out that is he the one who is in charge? Is he the actual president? Is Donald Trump the vice president? But look, this is of Trump's doing. Trump is the one who brought him in. Trump is the one who is giving him that kind of power. And that's why I'm saying that that's what Democrats need to continue to point out, because that's not what the American people voted for. The American people voted for Donald Trump because he said that he was going to bring down the price of groceries, he was going to bring down the price of housing. He has done nothing to try to affect that. And in fact, his plans do exactly the opposite. And what he's doing now is he's injecting chaos. He has no idea how to do calm. We know he doesn't like calm. This is the exact opposite of calm when the American people are hurting, and this is not what they voted for.
Yeah, Doug, you mentioned some of these Republicans who are defying Trump. I mean, could that be a sign of things to come?
Oh, absolutely. And this is why we've seen so many stories about.
Is that why he's backing off and saying, okay, go ahead and let us shut down, guys, because he doesn't have full control over.
He doesn't have any control right now, right? He's a president-elect, not president. But we've seen so many stories over the past few weeks of how will Mike Johnson control these House Republicans. The reality is, we know it's Donald Trump's party. It's about Donald Trump, and I think it's probably really nice weather right now in Palm Beach. Take Donald Trump to the golf course. Make him play 36 holes. That would be a good thing for Republicans moving forward.
Distract him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Happy
Thanks,
holidays.
Jim. You too.